Hi guys, welcome. My name is Given Mashele. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take you through the forward rates or the forward interest rate calculation. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but I just wanted to show you how to calculate the forward rates when you are given spot rate at different maturities. All right, let's just say, for example, we know that in year one, just for an example, in year one, we are told that a 1 year spot rate it's 3%. And a 2 year spot rate, let's assume is 3.5. 3 years is just 4 point, let's just assume it's 4.8, is just an example. Then 4 years is around, let's just say 5.2%. Then we are actually asked to actually calculate the forward interest rate. Right, we know that in terms of spot rate, these are just the current spot rate that, for example, if we were to invest money, like if we want to invest the money for like from the start of like we invest money now or we borrow money now, then maybe we have to pay it after, let's say, 1 year. Then obvious from year to it means this will be the 1 year spot rate that we're going to use. This is just the current spot rate that will be used. But how about maybe we want to further invest maybe for 3 years? So it means we still need that interest rate that we can use from 1 up until 3 years, which will now be called the forward interest rate. This will be the forward interest rate. But remember, this is actually the starting point. So let me just explain it maybe by looking at, like, let's say in terms of notation, we're given this. Let's say we have f of naught and x and y. So let me just explain what does this mean. So this means that this is a okay, let me just, because now we're using x and y, let me just change variables. Let me just use let's just say we use s and t. It's just an example, right? Within that, then it means that, yeah, if I were to construct this, I'll say this is a TS. In terms of its explanation, it's a TS for forward interest rate. Forward interest rate starting SES from now. So what does this mean? It means that if I were to construct a timeline, this is the starting point. I'm saying this is the time zero. So it means that in terms of the forward, it will start in time S. And we want to calculate the forward interest rate, which will start here. This is the starting point of the forward interest rate, which will start in SES. But actually its duration, it's only TS. This means from S up until to the last point, it will be TS, which means if it's TS, then we can say that the duration of these investment or just a borrowing transaction is just, let me just try to erase this. Okay, it's fine. So it means now we'll say this would be, actually it will be S plus T. S plus T, it will be the maturity or the duration of this investment or of this borrowing. So it means this will be the S plus T. Why it is this will actually be the maturity. So if this is the, what does it mean? Remember, here we said this is a TS. It is a TS forward interest rate that is starting SES from now. So which means that the difference, the duration, total duration, the maturity it's actually S plus T, whereby if we take X plus T, we subtract the S, it will give us the T. So the T is the duration in which this forward rate we need to work it looking at. So which means that if we were to actually wanted to know what is this forward rate, what is this forward rate, then it means we're going to say, okay, fine. We're going to look at this. Remember, we started the borrowing or the investment here. So you see, that means from here up until S, we know this is just the spot rate. We'll just use the spot rate. This is just the SES spot rate. But now we need to know the forward interest rate that we'll use up until maturity. So it means if we were to work this out mathematically, we'll say, okay, fine. We know the SES spot rate from here up until here, but we want to calculate the forward interest rate, which started in SCS, which is just a 1 year forward, I'm saying a TS forward interest rate. So it means now the maturity will be S plus T. So it means the maturity will just be the starting and how the duration. It means this is just the duration of the interest rate. So it means if we were to work it out, let me just write it like write it here again so that we can be able. So it's 0, S, and T. So it means this is the start, and this is just the duration of that forward rate we're interested on. So it means if we take the S, we add it with the T, the S plus the T, this will be the maturity. So now, in essence, if we were to do that, remember from that, it means we can say, since from 0 up until S, this is just the spot rate, the S spot rate, which we can write it as, for example, we can write it as the spot rate for the S spot rate. Okay, let me just use another symbol. Let's say this is the 0 and S. So this is just the S here spot rate. Then what do we actually need here? It means now with this we can say from 0 up until S, if we can take the SES spot rate compounding. Remember, if we're making any investment here, so it means we'll make the investment looking at the spot rate up until S. So it means this, it's like when we are using A equals to P into 1 plus I to the power of N. The compound interest formula. So it means now this would be 1 plus the spot rate, the S spot rate, but for how many years? It will just for SES. Then from S up until the S plus T, we're just left with TS. So it means we want to determine that forward interest rate. So it will be 1 plus the forward interest rate, which started in SES, but with the duration of T. So this also, we need to compound it. So it will be to the power of T equals, this will be, remember, from here up until there, multiplied by from there up until, so it means the same as when you just move from here up until there. And from just from the start up until the S plus T, this is just the spot, this spot rate. And since it is the spot rate, it is the S plus T spot rate, means it will be the 1 plus the S plus T spot rate. It will be the S plus T spot rate, but compounded to the power of S plus T. And one other thing that you need to actually consider is that if you have done this correctly, the sum of the exponents should be the same on both sides. So you can easily see that if we were to work this out, let's work this out and try to determine, like, to try to make the forward spot rate the subject of the formula. So this is what we'll be having. So I'll just explain. Let me try to explain it now. So it means now, remember here we had S plus T, apologies. So it means if we wanted to make this the subject of the formula, it means we have to divide both by remember, want to make this, so it means we have to divide. So we're going to have 1 plus the forward rate of S of T to the power of T. Remember, we're dividing both by this. So it means we're going to have 1 plus the spot rate, the S plus T spot rate, the S plus T spot rate to the power of S plus T, apologies, S plus T. We divide this by the 1 plus the R of the spot rate, the S here spot rate to the power of S. Then remember, we need to solve for this. So it means we must get rid of this term. We know we have to use exponents. Obviously, we're gonna transpose, make the reciprocal. So it means we multiply here by 1 over T on both sides. It means this will be multiplied, sorry, the whole of this would be multiplied by 1 over T. So doing, it means you're gonna remain with this expression, but we need to take the one that side, means the forward, the TS spot rate starting in SES with a maturity of S plus T. It will be now given as this expression. So it will be 1 plus the S plus T spot rate raised to the power S plus T divided by 1 plus the SES spot rate to the power of S, everything to the power 1 over T minus 1. But now, this is just the derivation, but I just want to do this maybe using examples so that you can be able, there's no need for you to cram the formula. Or what is important is just to understand what you're actually doing. So in terms of this information, remember, we're given a 1 year spot rate, 2 year spot rate, and 3 years up until the 4 year spot rate. Now, imagine we're given this. Imagine we're given, just an example. Imagine we're told to calculate number A. I'll just say f of naught, let's say 1 and 3. So you need to be able to understand what does this mean. It means, in terms of explanation, this is a 3 years. This is a 3 years forward interest rate, which will start, or starting 1 year from now. It means, remember this, I said this is the start, and this is the duration. So it means, in terms of the maturity, it's 4 years. So I think let's just construct the number line so that you can be able to understand. When is the start of the forward rate? 1 year, which will have a duration of 3 years. Obviously, if it's having a duration, it means the maturity will be 4. I believe you are following. So what do we want to calculate here? We want to determine the forward interest rate, which started in 1 year here, but having a duration of 3 years. So it means its maturity is actually 4 because it's 1 plus 3. And it means to do this, based on what I just said, I mean, remember we're starting here. So it means from 0 up until 1, this is just a 1 year spot rate. And within this, we need to continue with the forwards like up until maturity. So it means we can sacrifice it. From the start, we're going to have, let me just use a different. So we'll have 1 plus the spot rate, which is the 1 year spot rate from here up until here, with a duration of 1 year. Multiply by, now we're moving from 1 year up until the maturity date. So which will just 3 years, which is the forward interest. So it's going to be 1 plus the forward interest rate for starting in 1 year, but for a 3 years in terms of duration to the power of 3. So it means this is the same as we can just start from 0 up until 4 years, which is just the 4 year spot rate. So it means it's the same as 1 plus the 4 year spot rate, 4 year spot rate to the power of 4. You see, when you add this, 1 plus 3 is the same as that. So it means here, what we actually want to calculate, we want to calculate the forward interest rate. Now, we already have the 1 year spot rate, it's 3%. So you're going to have 1 plus, what is okay, the 3% is just 0.03, but raised to the power of 1 into 1 plus, we want this equals to, then this is the 4 year spot rate. What is the 4 year spot rate? 5.2. So 5.2%, which will be 0.052 to the power of 4. And if we simplify this will be 1.03 multiplied by 1 plus f of, in some instances, just write 1 and 3 without putting the zeros. Okay, to the power of 3. This side is 1.52 to the power of 4. Then now we can divide here by the 1.03. Same applies 1.03. So this will actually result to the following. It means we'll end up having the 1 plus the forward interest rate to the power of 3 equals to, then we can work out this. But okay, it's fine. We can just work it out and get the answer, but we can also do it like this. Yeah, it's fine. We can just work it out. But okay, it's fine. Let me just not simplify. It's going to be this one over 1.03, but this one is raised to the power 4. But because of this, we have to make the reciprocal 1 over 3. And even this side it will be 1 over 3. But there's a 1 year, so it means we have to transpose that side. So we're going to have 0, 1, 3. Then now, this will be, let's work this out. Let's work this out before subtracting by 1. So it means now we're going to have, so I'll just say 1.052 to the power of 4. And I divide by 1.03. Then everything raised to the power of 1 over 3. Then this will give me 1.0, is giving me 1.0594 if we're rounding to 4 decimal place. Then now we have to subtract by 1. If you subtract by 1, it means it will give us 0.0594. So then now we multiply that by 100. So it means the 3 years forward interest rate, which started in 1 year from now, will be 5.94%, if I'm not mistaken. 5.94%, if I'm not mistaken. So this is how we actually determine. It becomes easier when you are using a timeline. So if you construct a timeline, then it will be easier for you to understand that. So it's very, very, very important to know that. Okay, so then now let me check if there's nothing. Okay, I think everything is fine here. So let's say this time around, remember the 3 years forward interest rate we started 1 year from now, we got it to be 5.94%. Now, how about if we change this? How about we change this? Okay, just a minute, guys. Okay. How about now we are looking for, okay, now number B, let's say we want to determine the 031. This is different because that one was 013. What does this mean? This is a 1 year. This is a 1 year forward interest rate. It is a 1 year forward interest rate that will starting 3 years from now. So it means its maturity will still be 4. So now if we let's construct a timeline. 0 starting. What is the starting? It's starting in 3 years. Okay, I just want to use this. It's fine. Starting in 3 years, but its maturity, it's 4 years. So look, the forward rate will start here. Sorry. So it means the forward rate this will be the start. If this is the start, it means we want to calculate the forward rate. This is the forward rate, which started in 3 years, but has a duration of 1 year. So you see 4 minus 3, it's 1 year. So it means from 0 up until 3, this is a 3-year spot rate. But from 0 up until 4, this is a 4-year spot rate. So it means to determine the forward interest rate, which started in 3 years and has a duration of 1 year with the maturity of 4, it means we're going to do this. Remember, we start here. This is the starting point. So it means I'll say 1 plus the 3 years, spot rate. So it's 3 years spot rate to the power of 3 times from here up until it's just 1 year. So it's going to be 1 plus the forward interest rate started in 3 years with a duration of 1 raised to the power of 1. This is the same, remember, from here up until here, multiplied by from this, the same as from here up until there. So it means it will be 1 plus the 4 years spot rate with a duration of 4 years from now. Okay, so if we work this out this time around, what will be this? 3 year spot rate is this one. We have this. What is the 3 year spot rate? 3 year spot rate is 4.8. So 4.8 is just 0.048. So we have 0.048 to the power of 3. And we do not know this, power of 1. Then this one, a 4-year spot rate we do have, it's 5.2, which is just 0.052 to the power of 4. So if we divide this one by 1.0048 is the same, then even here it will be 1.048 raised to the power of 3. So we'll remain with this. So you see this is x to the power of 1, so it means to get this to the f of 0.31, which is 1.052 to the power of 4 divided by 1.048 to the power of 3 minus 1. And we can work it out there. So it's 1.052 raised to the power of 4 divided by 1.048 raised to the power of 3, if I'm not mistaken. So this will give us, we subtract by 1, it will give us 0.0641. Then if you multiply that by 100, so it means a 1 year forward rate, which started in 3 years, it's 6.41%. 6.41%. You see that the interest rate, remember the first one we said, a 3 years forward interest rate, we started 1 year from now, it's 5.94. 5.94. But the 1 year forward interest rate started in 3 years from 3 years from now, with the with the maturity of 4 years. They both have the same maturity, but their starting point is different. The maturity date is 1 plus 3, it's 4 years. So that is what you're supposed to do when you are determining the interest rate. I was actually explaining how to actually calculate the forward interest rate. I strongly believe you are following. And always take into account that the sum of the exponents should always be the same. Like looking at the exponents, always they have to be the same. But it's easier when you have constructed a timeline. It's easier when you have constructed a timeline. I strongly believe you are following. For example, if you have, let's say you have F011. So remember, this is the start. This is the duration. So it means this is a 1 year, it's a 1 year forward interest rate, which has started 1 year from now. And there's a maturity of 2 years because it's this 2. So it means if we had to construct a number line, it would be 0. Starting point is 1, maturity is 2. So it means the forward interest rate would just have a duration of 1 year. So it means from 0 to that, this is just the spot rate, 1. Then now this is what you're looking for, 0, 1, 1. But from 0 up until 2, this is just a 2-year spot rate. So it means we start from here, then we're going to say 1 plus the R of 0 and 1 multiplied by the forward spot rate. Remember, this is just 1 over 1. Same applies, this will just be over 1. Then it will be the same as 1 plus the 2-year spot rate to raise to the power of 2. You see 1 plus 1 cost, so it's still the same thing. I strongly believe you're following. I strongly believe you're following. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.